One of Hifiman's latest inventions when it comes to DAC amp desktop setups has been the EF600. It's a pretty peculiar device, especially when it comes to the design. However, it's very interesting and it's most definitely an improvement over the previous generation, the EF400. Let me tell you about it. The EF600 is a DAC, amp and a Bluetooth receiver all together, all in one device, as well as you can see, a headphone stand. Honestly, I really like that nod towards practicality in Hifiman's latest design. It's definitely not just a, cool looking thing, monolith that you can put on your desk. It also serves a purpose and you can really feel that it's well built for that. And this bad boy is going to set you back $800. Let's take a second to appreciate the build quality of this thing. It's heavy, it's kind of tall, but the footprint overall on the desktop isn't very big. It's actually smaller than most amplifiers out there. Not only is this thing heavy and made of strong materials, like this thick steel sheet that wraps around the entire thing, it's also rubberized at the bottom, so you don't really have to worry about, knocking something accidentally. And it's actually big enough to store most, if not all, cans on the market, maybe apart from something crazy like the 1266. But whether you have like your LCDs, or the Susvara or HU1000 SE as I do, it really inspires confidence and you don't really have to worry about whether your cans are safe or not. I have to admit, at first I didn't really like that design. I thought it was kind of wacky and I didn't like where it went from the original EF400. I really loved that kind of sleek metal and black design. It was just beautiful for me, and when this came out I was really skeptical. However, when I first saw it in person, it kind of started growing on me. Like, it just starts to make sense when you see it in person. Both the weird shape and this kind of volume, you can't even really call it a knob, it's more like a volume bar right now. But thanks to that wacky, as I said before, kind of design, it's very easy to use, it's very simple. You have two buttons on the front. One is for controlling the digital input and the other one is for controlling the oversampling and non-oversampling settings as well as the gain. An important thing to note if you're coming from the EF400 and are looking for an upgrade for your desktop system, this thing doesn't have a 3.5mm and a 4.4mm connector. It only has the 4-pin XLR and the 6.3mm jack, which for me is plenty. However, if you don't have those type of connectors, then make sure you arm yourself with them before you make your purchase. We've discussed what's in the front, now let's talk about what's in the back. As usual, we have two USB ports, USB Type B and USB Type C. It's the same solution that was used on the EF400 and I kind of dislike that because you could only use one at a time, even though there are two ports, of course. Here you have coaxial as well as Bluetooth, apart from the USB ports, of course, which to me is a pretty huge upgrade, and wireless connectivity is exactly what the EF400 needed, in my opinion. Apart from that, we have RCA and XLR outputs and inputs. This means that you can use this device both as a standalone DAC and as an amplifier, which kind of raises the overall flexibility of this device, and once again it's a pretty huge step up from what the EF400 has offered. When it comes to the power capabilities of this thing, it pushes out at 32 ohms 5.12 watts through the 4-pin XLR and 1.8 watts through the 6.3 jack. This of course means that any headphone you throw at it is going to sound great, except maybe some of the most power hungry cans out there like the Susvara, which could always use a better amplifier. How does this thing sound? Well, from the get-go you can hear that we are dealing with an EF series device by Hifiman. It carries some of that similar sound DNA, meaning that we have a little bit of warmth served to our headphones with a very good technical level as well. That was the case with the EF400, and the EF600 basically takes all of it, adds more power to it, more punch, more dynamics, basically improves upon the sound signature in basically every facet there is. There's still a little bit of that warmth, especially in the mid-range. That's probably thanks to the Himalaya Pro R2R DAC. But also there is a lot of air clarity, transparency, and those great dynamics, that punch that basically everyone loves so much. Overall, this seems like a very versatile sound signature. I can't really think of a pair of headphones that wouldn't go well with it unless you have something very, very warm, and you know that slight bit of warmth is going to push it over the edge. But apart from that, this is really a perfect match for many cans, especially for something like the HE1000 SE that I have right here. It benefits greatly from that bit of warmth that the EF600 pushes, and thanks to the great amount of power, the great technical level, the sound is able to shine even more thanks to the great dynamics, staging, air, transparency. It's really hard to pinpoint something wrong with this device's sound. And the sound can be had in two variants: non-oversampling and oversampling mode. The non-oversampling mode is supposed to sound a little bit more even, a little bit more neutral. However, this is all very fine tuning of the sound. You would really have to do some extensive testing to hear the difference, and most people don't really care about it. They can't really hear it. However, that also depends on the pair of headphones that you have. If you have something very resolving, something with great detail capability, then perhaps the difference between NOS and OS mode is going to shine to you even more. Summing things up, for $800, this seems like a complete package. You have a great DAC, a great powerful amplifier, a little bit of practicality in the form of the headphone stand, you have your wireless connectivity. Probably what I like the most about it is the versatile kind of sound that suits 99% of cans out there. That's going to do it for today's episode with the EF600. If you're in the market for something within the, $800 budget, or even maybe $1,000, and you're looking for like an all-in-one solution for your desktop combined with the headphone stand, of course I highly recommend that you try it, do some extensive testing, both the oversampling and the non-oversampling mode. And if you've already tried it, if you've already had your 5 minutes with this device, let me know down in the comments what you think. Soon a written review of the EF600 is going to appear on our website, and once that happens, of course, I will hook you up with the link down in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys in the next one. Bye.